morning, everyone. Brenda Lawson had a bad back. Philippa Baker was sick with worry, but tonight they're on top of the world. They've won gold at the World Rowing Championships for the second year in a row. Now, as Jane Dent reports, they're aiming for a third.
Relief and joy as Philippa Baker and Brenda Lawson struck gold again. Last year in the Czech Republic, expectations weren't as high and they cruised to victory. This time in Indianapolis they were favourites and far more nervous, with Lawson battling a sore back. But they didn't cause their fans too much worry. The duo led from start to finish. They headed home Canada by just under a second, with Germany third. Now the pair are aiming to make it 3 in a row at next year's World Championships in Finland.
Champion women's double sculls of 1994, New Zealand.
And they're already planning for the 96 Olympics in Atlanta.
Philippa Baker, Brenda Lawson.
Jane Dent, One Network News.
The Ranfurly Shield is mostly made of wood, but it could be worth its weight in gold to the Canterbury Rugby Union. A huge crowd filled Lancaster Park to overflowing for the counties match. And Otago's challenge in 2 weeks is bound to be a sellout. John Selwood reports.
They began queuing at 7 o'clock this morning, a line stretching from Lancaster Park, down the road and around the block.
13 adults and 2 children, number 4. Yeah.
Within hours, the seats were gone and it was standing room only.
I think there's only 1 in 4 left in the embankment.
There's been nothing like it since the 80s. Shield fever has returned, and if there were any doubts, they were laid to rest yesterday.
Who says Ranfurly Shields rugby is dead? Look at that terrace in the background. They're hanging from the rafters up there.
A crowd of more than 35,000 turned out yesterday to support Canterbury against counties. They witnessed the emergence of a young star.
Open country ahead! Sensational!
Andrew Mertens, who notched up 32 of Canterbury's 42 points. But for red and black fans, the defence against Otago is the big one. The last time Otago challenged Canterbury for the Shield was back in 1984. Recent form favours Otago, who've won their last 4 championship encounters.
Otago, 52-10.
A confident prediction, given the bulk of the sellout crowd, will be showing Canterbury colours in 2 weeks' time. John Selwood, One Network News.
The United States are undisputed world champions of golf. They hold the Ryder Cup for beating Europe's best. Now they've outclassed the rest of the world in the inaugural President's Cup. Darryl Walker has that, and then some other sporting action.
The international team started the final match play round needing something spectacular. Vijay Singh got a birdie here, but not the victory needed to haul in the Americans. And Kiwi Frank Nobilo could only halve his match with Lauren Roberts. The home side won 6 of the 12 matches, but competition was fierce, with 8 decided on the last green. Even Nick Price, the world number 1, couldn't stop the inevitable. His shot to the 18th was a crucial miss, as Fred Couples produced a storming finish. This to set up his 3rd birdie in 5 holes. Price couldn't match that. The Americans took the point and the cup. Exactly. Canberra forward John Lomax will know tomorrow if he'll have to sit out the Winfield Cup Grand Final. Lomax will answer for this high tackle at a judicial hearing. Lomax is also one of Canberra's many injury worries after yesterday's battle, which at one stage reduced Norths to 11 men.
I've never played a Winfield Cup Grand Final, so it should be a big one for me, but I'm not getting overwhelmed by it. I'm just going out there, it's just another game, and hopefully we can take it out.
Canberra finished strongly against the Bears.
Mullins, what a combination!
But coach Tim Sheens says they'll need to cut down errors to beat the Bulldogs. And Kiwi veteran Kelly Evenden will only play the doubles in this week's Davis Cup tie against Australia. That leaves rising stars James Greenhalgh and Stephen Downs competing for his singles spot alongside Brett Stephen. Darryl Walker, One Network News.
And some sad news for international tennis today.
Yes, 'tis. Anyone our age would recall a colourful 40-year-old New Yorker, Vitas Gerulaitis, who was found dead in New York today.
Thanks, John.
Looking again at our top stories now, President Clinton has called off the invasion of Haiti and called back the planes after his negotiators reached an 11th-hour compromise with the military junta. Under the agreement, General Cedras and his partners must step down by October the 15th and allow a US-led military force to occupy Haiti from tomorrow.
The foster father of a man shot 3 times by a Kaitaia policeman says the shooting amounts to attempted murder. The police have said...
Press over here during the week about betting scandals, the Rothmans now. Was there a case that some teams threw a game and backed themselves to lose?
Well, you know, the police do believe that players have got to answer to charges, but nobody has been charged by the police. In my day, it never happened. I don't know anybody who's ever accepted a bet. I'll leave it at that.
Well, as I said many times, Toddy, only used to bribe the good players. Let's get on to the weekend in New Zealand. A big one over there, the Lion Red Cup Grand Final.
Yeah, that's right. Counties Manukau up against North Harbour, Dwayne Mann's side. Now, Dwayne Mann will have a big game because he's just been captain of the New Zealand side. And you and I are North Harbour boys. I'm a North Harbour Tonk, and so are you.
Emotional weekend, looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I am too, and make sure you bring your headgear next week because you're going to need it.
Good weekend coming up, Clarkie. See you then.
Yes, we look forward to it. And great news just through. A very determined Graham Lowe will be calling the Winfield Cup Grand Final. Lowe has recovered from his heart bypass in time to join Graham Hughes for the big one on Sunday. Well, recently, Taupo hosted one of the more unique sporting challenges when a collection of stars gathered to test their versatility in a dual challenge. It was, in a way, a clash of the codes.
Up to 36 holes of golf a day, a tennis match and, of course, obligatory social events in the evening was a challenge that many of our top sports people could not resist. The Wairaki Club and Racket Challenge attracted some of the big names from several codes who fancied themselves as aces on the court and course.
Go! I'm trying to get up there.
And the combination of golf and tennis is an ideal mix for a tournament, explains organiser Andy Hayden.
Well, it's the poise and the precision of a golfer compared to the agility and the reflexes of a tennis player, and these are two of the biggest individual sports in the world, and fascinating to see great tennis players playing golf and also very good golfers playing tennis, and you know, so it was the idea was to combine the two sports and enter as a pair and just try and find out who is the best all-rounder.
But it wasn't so easy going, as AJ Whetton found out.
Here I am, David Bellamy, trying to find a very rare species called the golf ball. It's round here somewhere. Come with me and see if we can have the adventures of the lost golf ball.
However, AJ did have a moment of glory, a 300-metre longest drive.
Which is very unlike AJ, because usually it would be in the trees, way over the other side in the trees. So he hit a beauty, so it looks like he's going to win the Mizuno Graphite Driver. $500 worth of club, far too good for him. It'll be a waste.
And for the record, the winners were Davis Cup stars James Dunphy and Mark Lewis.
Good form shown there by Alan Whetton, but I'm not so sure about his David Bellamy impersonation.
I'm not so sure about your Mike Brewer impersonation.
What do you mean? What's wrong with it? I'm just here to remind you who's still got the log of wood.
I believe in Otago they're actually making their own souvenir Ranfurly Shield jerseys for a fortnight's time, so don't get too carried away. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy a big week of sport, and good luck to the Kiwi Davis Cup team, and fingers crossed for Mel Meninga in Sunday's Winfield Cup Grand Final.
No way, I'm sticking with Canterbury. And we'll be back next Monday night. Join us then.
Good night.
Good night.
Sports Extra team choose to fly with Ansett New Zealand.
Next on Television One, the challenge of drug abuse in the city leaves Taggart wondering about the competence of some of the officers he has to assign to the case. Exporters Moana Pacific and Ashburton Busmakers Design Line are successes made in New Zealand, ahead of prime time and ways of making you think about the impact of soaps. After Spender, Sam Waterston endures the start of the nightmare years, working in Nazi Germany, tonight on Television One.